Real estate negotiation tactics for buyers. You're a buyer and you're wanting to negotiate the price or some terms to a contract with a seller. What are some of the things that you should do? I'm going to show that to you right now. Before we get started, remember, in the description, click on the link that's going to help you to be more productive in your business. I'm Paul R. Atkinson, your professional coach. So, real estate negotiation tactics for buyers. What are some of the things that a buyer might need to negotiate on? Well, you think about it, where does the negotiations come into place? Well, first thing is making an offer, right? You're thinking about what to offer. Well, that could be something that could offend the client, right? So you got to be careful about that. And then after the pricing is gone over, and let's just say the contract is now accepted. And that's where I really want to put your mind today. I want you to focus now on, it's not about the beginning stage, because that's not really negotiating. Negotiating is like when you're already on the contract, you got the deal in hand. How do you see it through to make sure it doesn't fall apart and close? How do you do that? Because that's the most important part. That's like the bigger part. That's like the mountain. All right. What are some of the things that you might need to negotiate on, Mr. and Mrs. Buyer? You're now in the contract. You got it accepted, right? There was a bunch of offers, but now you're accepted. First thing come to my mind is that inspection. I don't know where you are in this world or this country, wherever. There's different areas, different market conditions. But I know here in the South Florida, we use the as is with the right to inspect and cancel. And that's typically a contract where the buyer has that right to inspect within a 5-day, 10-day, 15 days. It depends on what's in the terms of the contract. And after the inspection, then you can either negotiate a lower price or a credit or just cancel the deal and move on. So how do you negotiate in that stage? The first thing you got to do is make sure you have the facts. That means you know the facts. What are the facts and how could you know the facts? The facts are you've completed a professional and licensed and insured inspection and you have the report in your hands. That's the facts. Because now you could look at it, highlight it, and then you could present it to the seller side and say, hey, here are the facts. And we're respectfully asking, because we want to move forward, we want to provide you with a smooth closing. We're just respectfully asking that you would give us a credit of X amount of dollars, which is shown right there on the summary of all the inspection. This is an estimate of what it could take to get this property up to speed. Know your facts. That's it. Know your facts. Number one, you got to know the facts. What are the facts? What are you trying to negotiate? When you present that to the seller, you're more inclined to get things going, which leads to number two. Don't get the seller angry. Don't get the seller angry. Things like not knowing the facts could get them angry when you make an assumption. Oh, this is going to be $50,000 to do this. Come on, what are you talking about? I'm just making an example. Don't get the seller angry. You want to be able to negotiate the deal. So therefore, number one, you've got your facts and then you present your facts. And then when you present your facts, you're going to be respectful about it and be articulate in your words. Making sure that when you present something, you're kind of using a little bit of empathy, so to speak. Not sympathy, but empathy. Well, Mr. Seller, thank you so much for this opportunity. I know you could have chosen any other buyer, but we're grateful that we're here. We want to see you through the closing. We promise you a smooth closing. However, the facts are that we need to do this, we need to do that, we need to do this and do that. We're just wondering, we're hoping that you're able to provide us with a credit that will allow us to keep moving forward. Bang! Isn't that sweet? Come on, man. That's like the secret sauce. But you know what? You're part of our community, so we're here to give it to you, right? So that's number two. You have to make sure you don't get the seller angry. Number 3 would be for you to be a rational thinker. So remember, number 1 was for you to know the facts. Number 2 was for you to don't get the seller angry. Number 3, you should be a rational thinker. That means you should be willing to compromise. Like, be a rational thinker means that you're not only thinking about yourself, but you're thinking about the other party involved. And I always say that, just be a rational thinker, and then you could really, really negotiate things. You're seeing that the facts are saying to you that the property needs this done and that done and this done and that done. Okay, fine, understood. You're asking for X amount, like it's going to take $10,000. Well, if they gave you that $10,000, the seller gave that to you, where would that leave them? What if they come back and say, well, we totally understand, and that is why we price the property the way it is, and we're sure it's going to appraise. So a rational thinker would tell you that, okay, well, you know what? Let me just take one step at a time, and I'm going to meet them in the middle. And I'm asking for 10,000, so maybe they're going to give me 5. But at the same time, I've got 5 now in my hands. My next step after my inspection would be my appraisal. Well, what if it appraises for 5,000 less, right? Maybe that's another step for you to negotiate. And you've got to be willing to be a rational thinker along the way. So what are the things to negotiate, buyer? Mr. and Mrs. Buyer, you're talking about your inspections. Then after that, then you have to negotiate on the appraisal if it doesn't come in. And it's one step at a time. So these are all the secret sauce that we're giving you here. And it's always a pleasure. Just remember, these are some of the top things that you could do to negotiate and have the skill set as a buyer or a buyer's agent. You want to make sure that you kind of follow that pattern of getting the facts, and then don't get anybody upset. Don't get them upset. Try to avoid that. And then use good words and articulate your words very well. Just be smooth about it, and then be a rational thinker. That's in summary. That's it. You know how I feel about you, and I've got to run. And you guys asked that question, and I've answered it. And so until next time, remember, in the description, click on the link that's going to help you to be more productive inside of your business. And not only that, but to get that deal done most effectively. And today we talked about negotiation tactics for a buyer. That's pretty interesting. It was a great question. I loved it. I truly enjoyed it. Until next time, remember, in the comments, leave something that you want to hear us talk about. I'll be delighted to talk about it. Ask me any questions. I will put them out for you. Until next time, I'll see you real soon. Let's go get them, Tiger.